Bourbon, Broncos, and No B.S. Fans, brews, and Broncos news.
What's up, Broncos country? Welcome to another edition of Bourbon, Broncos, and No BS. Guys, your Denver Broncos are 5-2 on a 4-game win streak after 2 literal last-second losses back-to-back. We are now on the other side of things. And while we're winning, there are a multitude of things that have got to be addressed. And so I got Spotty with me here tonight. The other guys just, I guess, didn't want to talk about the first 3 quarters. So they were just like, well, if I have to talk about it, I'm just not going to be there. And dip out early like David did. I'm going to call him out. I'm diming him out. He's not here to defend himself. I don't care.
I'm pretty sure they're just all in the hospital. You know, they checked themselves in. The doctors were going to diagnose them with insanity, continuously being Bronco fans over the years. Couple of high heart rates and anxiety meds. So
where do you think his gray hair is from?
I'm telling you right now, if I wasn't so clean shaved, you'd see all the grays that I picked up over the last couple of days.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. So the stress that we're feeling from winning is kind of crazy. You know, I'll be honest, doing the post-game show last night, it had the amped up, energized feeling of a loss of like, hey, there were just so many things we did wrong, and there are just so many things that we have got to fix now. And it had that energy, but we were talking about a win. It was kind of weird, to be honest with you. I mean, the whole game, the first 3 quarters were just so atrocious. And the stadium, I mean, I'm sure you heard on the TV, those boos were starting, by the end of the 3rd quarter, those boos were loud. People were not happy. And we can talk about people streaming for the exits, and I'll call you out. That's okay, because I tell you, the number one rule, Spotty, of going to a game is you do not leave early. You could miss out witnessing NFL history, literally.
I'm telling you right now, man, it's there. I was even a loss of words. I'm sitting there, and you know, some of the guys know, and I was traveling this weekend, so we were bouncing around from bar to bar, and we were in hotel bars and in family establishments watching the game on our phones because we were in Minnesota, which didn't have the game on regionally, and I had to apologize to the waiters and the owners as I was losing my absolute shit for that time being, and it's wild to think that the Broncos played the game like they did, and they know they could score 33 points over 4 quarters, right? Like, I'm just curious if our team knows that they don't need to just turn it on after one particular quarter or in the second half or just play the first half. Like, they can play 4 quarters, and it'd be really interesting to see what this Broncos team would be like if they played the games from start to finish. Like, you know, are we going to be putting up friggin' 45 points a game if we actually played the rest of the quarters? Because that's what it feels like. That's 100%. If you look at the defenses the Broncos have to play for the rest of the season, the Chiefs and the Texans are probably the best defenses that we have left to even see. We should be scoring more points. We should be doing this, but of course we're playing down to the teams that we're going against.
And so lots there to unpack. I think you hit several things dead on the head on the nail there. What's interesting to me, and looking back from the last several weeks, not just this game, the last 3 games that we've won, the Broncos offense has shown 2 extremes. They're not really ever hanging out in the middle, acting average. They're either all the way off and nothing is happening, or they're all the way on and they look incredible. And we're saying if you do this all the time, you're going to be unstoppable, right? It's going to be almost impossible for anyone to come near you at that point, because it's going to help out the defense and all that stuff. So the only thing I can seem to find, because I'm asking myself, where's the disconnect? Where is why can't we do that? Why can't we do it all the time? And two things. It seems like this offense, it seems to need a break. They need something to happen in order for them to get going. And I'll point out this last week's game, the tipped pass to Sutton that was caught by Franklin for the touchdown, at the beginning of the fourth quarter. Like, not the way the play was designed, and it was well defended, probably shouldn't have been thrown, all that stuff, but we needed a break for the flood dam to break open, right? But we also seem to be in the situation of, you look at the numbers, and I don't have them in front of me, but the numbers of Bo Nix when the Broncos are playing from behind, he has like 11 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, over 1,000 yards. He looks incredible. So, Spotty, I want to ask you, like, why can we do this when we're behind and playing under pressure, but not when we're just, trying to play our normal game?
That's a good question. And I think that this is a really good comment to kind of speak on about all of our issues right now. I'm a little biased, guys, because my whole take about the Denver Broncos has been about Sean Payton for the last 3 years now.
For sure.
And so my issue is I feel like there was almost a scheme change. Like, how many bubble screens were we throwing out there in the fourth quarter? Like, we almost had to take the bubble screen out of the playbook because of the situation that we were in. Okay. And so what ends up happening is when you go a bubble screen on first down and then second down, a second and long, you shoot yourself in the foot with the penalty. And the next thing, you're staring down at 3rd and 25. Like, I'm not even sure if it's just, it's like all these things that add together. Like, the Broncos always end up getting behind in distance earlier in the game. It's like they're still experimenting with plays. It's like they're still experimenting with, David brought up this, or it was Adam who brought up that Peyton's not going to do as many players anymore. He's not going to rotate any more people in and out. Those are almost things that you should have already figured out. Like, we're 7 games into the season. Although who's really going to get in there and play, I think is crap. Now, the second part that I want to speak about that on that comment was about Bo. And the people who think Bo is the problem, I think they're incorrect. I don't think that Bo is the problem. And the reason I don't think Bo is the problem is I watched Baker Mayfield play Monday Night Football. And a lot of the things that they say Bo does incorrectly, Baker was almost doing the exact same last night, right? Just barely overthrowing the wide receivers. And then if you add in the drops, and then if you add in all the other things, I guarantee a lot of those talking heads, they're not watching all of the Broncos tape, right? And if they watched the Broncos tape, they'd find a team that was 12 of 121 and penalty yards in this game. I'm wrong about that exact stat, and then I don't know how many drop passes that we had. It's just something
at least 5. Ridiculous.
And I'm telling you, I think I listened to Mark Schlereth right before I jumped on this, and Schlereth was saying that the first drive for the Broncos was the first play was an overthrow by Bo, the second play was a drop pass, and then the third play it was a missed read, and Bo ended up getting sacked. That was the first drive. You know how most teams have the first drive so scripted that it's almost weird that you don't get a touchdown after the first drive. So
yeah. It seems to me, I think what it kind of boils down to is there's a point in the game where the Broncos get so far behind that, you go into that hurry up offense where it's the quarterbacks running the show, but there's a plan. There's an understanding between the head coach and the quarterback, but the quarterback goes out there and runs the show and executes. Once that happens, things start looking so good. The hurry up offense works. They get in a flow, right? Why don't we get into a hurry up offense just earlier on in the game. Try to see if that helps us get into a flow. Hey, Bo, the first 12 whatever plays are scripted. Yeah, run those. But after that, man, you take it, dude. We'll throw you ideas. We'll talk, but you take the show because that's what seems to be, working. Once Bo is like comfortable in making those decisions, and you said it yourself, we are through 7 games now. We know what works and we know what doesn't work. This is not the time for experimenting anymore. That's a next year problem. Take what we know what works. Stop cycling people in, 3 or 4 people in out every single damn play, and just go out there and play ball. You start doing that, Spotty, man, we're going to start putting up 30, 35 plus points almost every freaking game. It's ridiculous. Soapbox, sorry.
I mean, you know me, I'll go on rants all day. And what Adam put right here, this is the potential that this is correct, right? If this is what we've already seen 7 games into the season, it's not like people change a whole lot for the rest of the season, right? It's not like
they talk about mid-season form. Is this our mid-season form, Spotty?
I mean, we're what? Just 2 games from the mid-season? 1 game? Okay, that's not good. Because the hard part about it all, more than anything, right? I am afraid that we are going to end up wasting the defense, okay? And there's a lot of people who are like, oh, the Broncos defense really isn't that good. Look what the Giants did. Look what the Colts did. But that's the catch about it, right? Through the first 3 quarters of almost all of these games, the time of possession is been in our opposing team's favor, okay? And I don't care how good of a defense you have, if your defense is on the field all the time, which is something we've said for almost 2 years straight, if your defense is on the field all the time, they're going to get beat. That's just how it is, right? They're going to scheme the next thing.
They're human.
During the game, they're going to get tired, and we're lucky that we're deep. I mean, any other team would have probably still given up even more points than that.
Yeah, that's the scary thing. It's like, look, the defense played average, and this is what I was talking about last week. After the Jets game, we can't rely on the defense to play like they did against the Jets and the Eagles every single week. I said they're going to have off weeks, and the offense is going to have to step up and do their part in order for us to win these games. And you saw what happens in the first 3 quarters there, where the offense goes out there and does their experimenting and cycling people in and out, and 3 and out here, 3 and out there, and oh, look, we got a first down. But by this point, we have 1 first down, and the other team has 8, And the defense is like, hey, we're having an off day where they're missing reads, they're missing coverages, they're just not as sticky, they're letting people through, and next thing you know, it's 19-0. That's what happens when the defense has an off day and the offense continues to jack around like they've been doing, dude. So I'm not saying that Sean Payton needs to give up play calling, but it's not just what Sean Payton was talking about yesterday, was looking at the players that are executing well and giving them more playing time, and the players that aren't executing well and giving them less playing time. There's also a Sean Payton factor here that needs to take place, and that's him recognizing that he needs to stop overthinking things. Sometimes the simple answer is the best answer. You're second and goal from the 2-yard line. Run the ball up the damn freaking middle. Run it up the middle, QB sneak, run it up the middle again. If you can't get 2 yards, you don't have to get super fancy on every little freaking chance you get. So Sean Payton needs to pull back the reins on himself and look at what's working and stick to that for the rest of the season. You can work on more complicated things and being all fancy next season. Roar!
I mean, that's 100% correct. I mean, if you watched any of the Monday night game last night, okay, Seahawks tried a couple of fancy roll out, see if we can get somebody open plays, and then they stopped and they're like, you know what, maybe we just put this in the running back's belly and try to run it. And I'm pretty sure every time that's when they stop to do that, they end up scoring a touchdown. So it's not he's too smart, guys. Like, Sean is too smart, and so that leads him to think, well, let's get complicated to get where we need to go. And you don't need that. You really don't need that. But more than anything, and this is something that I talked to David about, I can't understand it almost as the underlying issue. It may even be the biggest issue because it's what stops our drives. How the heck do we stop these penalties? I looked it up. It's 12 of 127. 12 and 127. I'm pretty sure the Broncos are 10 plus penalties for 100 plus yards in almost every game this year. I would maybe the Jets game might be the only exception, but I think for almost every game we're 10 plus with 100 plus yards and penalty yards.
I think the Jets was 9 for 91 or something. It was just under 100. Like if it wasn't, it was just there. Dude, it's ridiculous. So, but that's the question. You don't see this from Sean Payton's team. I've looked up, just general historical stats, and he's usually around average. Like he's not the most well-disciplined team, but he's never, listed as like having a team this consistently undisciplined. And these are things that are like week 2 issues that, hey, it's week 2. Like they should be cleaned up by now. Like, yeah, schemes and timing and those kind of things. Sure. Have some more time there, but penalties, pre-snap penalties. It's just, look, you can point to some of them as, maybe about a third of them, maybe less. 25% of them is being bullshit penalties. There were about 3 or 4 on us this last week that you can start with that Riley Moss one at the very end, but there were several more that I could point to that were just like, what are you doing? Like that's either so ticky-tack or that wasn't there at all. But the vast majority of it, 100% our fault. So Spotty, I agree. Like, I don't even have an answer for you. Where is this coming from and why is it not being fixed? Because again, it does not matter if you clean up every single other problem you have. If that problem persists, it's going to be the number one thing that consistently kills your drives and keeps your offense off the field. Roar!
So we're sitting number 1 in the AFC West right now, okay?
I know, right now. But
and I'm saying right now, and Rashee Rice just returned to the Kansas City Chiefs. And, of course, the Kansas City Chiefs just had a game that they had 0 penalties. Let's not get into that.
Don't even.
That kind of thing. And then they played a game against the Raiders, okay? I more than anybody else, I don't care if we end up winning AFC West. I want us to just be higher than the Chiefs are in the AFC West. So if that means that we have to win it, I would love that. But I'm going to go ahead and tell you this right now. If the Denver Broncos go for 10 for 100 yards and penalty yards on the Kansas City Chiefs, you will lose every single one of those games, okay? Let's not get into conspiracy theories. Let's not get into the refs are, wearing red and yellow. Let's just get into straight facts. We are not beating the Kansas City Chiefs with the way that we've played the last I'm going to say 3 games because we haven't played a complete game in any of those games. It's not going to happen if we can't put together 2 freaking quarters, man. I'm not even asking for a whole game. Give me 2 to 3 of your best football in quarters. Everybody falls off a quarter. Just 2 to 3 quarters. And I'm telling you, they could probably beat anybody in football.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they've already beat the Eagles. They've already, the Giants they almost beat the Colts, right? And that was the game where it was the opposite. The offense was clicking in the Colts game, and the defense had an off day, right? But it was those mistakes, the little things from special teams and the penalties that killed us, right? So it's already, in my mind, it cost us at least 1 game, if not both those games. The Chargers won as well. So, someone said it earlier. If I find it, David here. These boys could be 7-0. Yeah, but guys, we're lucky we're not 3-4.
yeah, like
because of these penalties. Like if you want to play that game, I'll concede to you. Yeah, we could very easily. We're like 2 plays away from being 7-0, and that's fantastic. We're also maybe 2 or 3 plays away from being 2-5 or 3-4.
I mean, technically, these last 3 games, the Jets, the Eagles, and the Giants, that's legitimately 1 to 2 plays from the Broncos losing all 3 of those games. I mean, if the Giants take any more time off the clock instead of scoring a touchdown directly with Dart,
we're screwed.
Yeah, like we're screwed. I mean so. It's just how the game seemed to go for the Broncos, and I know this seems like a weird concept, so Broncos fans, you may be with me on this, but is there such thing as blowing another team out? Like, is that can that happen? I'm not sure if we're allowed to have that as Broncos fans. I feel like even
I don't think so.
Because we scored so many damn points in 2013 that the NFL is like, you know what?
You're going to prorate here for the next 10, 15 years.
Yeah, like exactly. Like you can't have the highest scoring offense of all time and then get away scot-free with feeling real anxiety. I think that's what's really happening to it.
I always assumed that that the whole quarterback purgatory we were in was the punishment for the Peyton Manning era, and I took that, right. It sucked, and we did this podcast throughout the entirety of that mess, right? So I thought we were past that, especially last season. I'm like, okay, we're out of purgatory. The NFL is like, okay, you can continue on, but apparently not. Apparently freaking not. And let me go this way. I want to talk about really quick because it's big news today, and we don't have to spend a lot of time on it. But for the Greenlaw situation, obviously Greenlaw out for one game. He is appealing it, but let's be honest, NFL is just not going to say anything. Yes, we can agree that Greenlaw shouldn't have said a damn thing. He should have shut his mouth. You won the game. It was your first game back. Just go freaking take the win and leave, right? But at the same time, if he's going to get suspended one game for saying whatever threat, and I want to know what threat he said to the ref, the whole reffing crew should be suspended for a month for the way they call that game. I mean, they kind of deserved it.
What's actually wild is that crew and that specific referee have been suspended before. He's literally been suspended once in 2023 and 2024. So
did not know that.
Yeah,
well, I could see why. That was a terribly called game. And I'm not going to say just for the Broncos. There were other calls that the Giants fans could point out too that were either missed or bad penalties, whatever. But in general, it was a bad game. But here, and so when it comes to the Greenlaw thing, like, hey, it was his first game back, and he only played one game last season. Like, maybe it's a good thing. He has a week for his body to just be like, whoa, what was that? Let's get right, retweak some things, and then get back out there again. So maybe this is like a blessing in disguise kind of situation.
I don't know, man. I almost feel like we need everybody we need because in this particular
I know, but it's like at least he got through it without getting broke on the first play.
I know, but you know what Jared's going to say if Javonte goes off in this next game, right? So having everybody healthy would be pretty huge. So not to give us a foray into the second half of the of the podcast today.
And everyone's going to be held to this, just so you know. But as soon as Jared comes back, which guys will be very soon, just so you know, be on Jared watch. You will see him start popping up here very regularly in the near future. There will be a Javonte jar, and we will all have to pay into it every time we bring up his name. And yes, I do expect that 95% of the funds that get paid in that jar will come from Jared, but it is coming. It is coming. So we'll see. Like the Greenlaw thing, it is what it is. We're gonna have to deal with it. Whatever. I know we're getting. It's probably a topic for longer than just 6 minutes here, so we can split it up with the halftime announcements. But we are 2 weeks away from the trade deadline, guys. We're going into this, and I was hearing a lot of talk today and seeing a lot of things going around. People seem to be really, really down on RJ Harvey, thinking that he's just not done it this year. He's looking like, I've heard on the radio, I saw other people talking about it, calling him a bust, calling him a failure. We need to do we need to do something at the trade deadline to get a running back because RJ Harvey just isn't it. And I want to get your thoughts on that because I'm sitting here saying, I know each position is different, but we're giving Bo Nix, 3-4 years to really truly develop. We're giving somebody like Troy Franklin 2 years, like he's better this year, but let's still give him another year. But we're only going to give RJ Harvey 7 weeks before we say he's a bust. We need a trade. What do you think, Spotty?
I think that Here's the thing, right? First off, J.K. Dobbins has been a very effective running back. I personally believe that if you have someone who's an effective running back, you just continue to tote the rock with them, right? I don't see I'm as a fantasy football guy, I see the frustration because you get a Kenneth Walker, who's one of the most efficient running backs, and then they decide to put in the least efficient running back in there. Like the Patriots are doing that. I don't believe the Broncos want to do that. When it comes to the thunder and lightning scheme that Peyton has, he's just going to give it to the hot hand. That's what he's going to do. And J.K. Dobbins is the hot hand. Currently, with him being healthy, he has been good. But the issue for the Broncos is we've been getting away from the running game. And if you're going to get away from the running game, what the last thing you're going to do is put R.J. Harvey in there to do pass pro. We knew the one thing for R.J. Harvey is that rookies just generally aren't good at pass pro. That there's very few that come in and they are able to stand on their toes and get in there and pass pro. Matter of fact, take a look, just because I want everybody to take a look at this. Alex Singleton rammed 𝐂𝐨𝐬𝐿.
Oh yeah, beautiful.
He fell on that behind and that big dumb head of his once he got hit by Alex. Okay, and that's what ended up leading to the interception. So that's why rookies don't tend to be in on pass pro. And 𝐨𝐸 is probably someone who's a really good blocker. Okay, so I don't believe if the Broncos do trade for anybody that it's going to be a running back. More than anything at this point, I think if the Broncos make any kind of trade, it's for wide receiver too.
I'd agree with that. And part of the reason we've gotten away from the run game, especially this last week, and you look at the Eagles game too, we got so far behind. You can't run your way back into a game at a certain point. You have to throw your way into a game. But when you don't, and let's go back to this last week's game. Because we still got 2 minutes of week 7 talk left. I know. Again, I get it. The first 12, 15 plays, whatever, are scripted. But you go out there and you start the game with 5 straight passing plays. Are you kidding me? You're not even trying to set up the run to start the game. Where is this coming from? So when things are even, you're not even, you're kind of already abandoning the run game. So I am definitely in no way, jumping ship on R.J. Harvey. I am not saying he's a failure. I'm kind of just curious as to where this is all coming from all of a sudden, because I hadn't heard that until today. But with the trade deadline, believe it or not, guys, we are going into week 8 here in just about 2 minutes, and the trade deadline is 2 weeks away. So what are the Broncos going to do? Obviously, we're hurting on offensive line with Powers being out, but where are you going to find somebody better than we already have out there that that's worth trading for? Probably not. So running back again, I think we're okay for now. But if you're looking at something that's going to help bolster the offense, I think Spotty, you're right. Wide receiver too, and we're going to talk about maybe some options there, or who or what we're willing to give up to get them. So hang on, guys. We got the second half coming by. Spotty's going to go grab his orange slices that I sent him for halftime today. Get set up. You didn't get those? No. My bad. Anyway, he's going to refill his drink or whatever. Hey, guys, welcome to halftime here. Bourbon Broncos No B.S. We got a ton of stuff for you guys. Monday nights at 8 p.m. Mountain Time. Every Monday night is our post-game podcast live, breaking down the previous week's game, giving our not instant reactions, but somewhat delayed reactions, as we've had some time to kind of process everything and share our thoughts and take your questions during the show. This show of Bourbon Broncos No BS is our flagship show. We've been doing this for 10 years, guys, our 10-year anniversary. And I will say we are now officially 5 Broncos wins away from giving 3 random fans of ours a Broncos jersey, of Bo Nix Broncos jersey of their choice. So 5 more wins as part of our 10-year celebration. We're giving away 3 number 10 jerseys. So the Broncos just need to hit the 10-win mark, and knock on wood, we are halfway there, guys. So only 5 more. So stick around for that and even more prizes and everything that we're going to be doing and handing out as we get closer to the end of the season. As we just are just excited to be doing this for 10 years with you guys and excited for at least another 10, and we'll see what happens. I know Spotty might get sick of us at some point and say, I'm going to go join a better podcast. I don't know. But also make sure you guys are following us on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher. Check out our pregame podcast on those places. And then game day, we got 1 hour before kickoff, our live tailgate talk show. We break down all the last minute information, the inactives list, and get you set for kickoff. And then we're live at halftime as well for every Broncos game. Now, if you saw what we did for the Jets game, we were live during the entirety of the Jets game a couple weeks ago. Obviously, we can't show the game, but we were commenting throughout it and talking to you guys and interacting with you guys throughout the entirety of the game. And based off your feedback, we decided we're going to keep that going. So I'm here to announce that the next time we're going to be doing that is November 2nd. Against the Texans. That's an 11 a.m. Mountain Time kickoff. So we'll be live at 10 a.m. on the 2nd for the tailgate talk, and we will flow right on into staying live for the entirety of the game. So that'll be our November away game that we cover, guys. So mark your calendars and make sure that if you want a place to watch it or whatever, just tune on into Bourbon Broncos No B.S. and hang out with us while the game is taking place. Also, make sure you go sign up at broncosandbourbon.com, guys, for free this season. We'll be adding membership tiers next year. So if you want to get in free right now, this is the time to do it. And if you sign up before the end of the 2025-2026 season, you will get automatically upgraded for free once we do have those membership tiers in place. You'll get upgraded to the next membership tier there. So make sure you go sign up now. Places for articles that you can read. Adam is doing a lot of writing over there, so you can get his takes on things, comment, chat with each other about it, all that good stuff. One-stop shop for all of our videos, podcasts, shows, all that good stuff. So if you want to see where the latest stuff is, it's right there on the homepage. And then we have a fan section as well that we're kind of tweaking and building out. So bear with us, guys, as that continues to gets developed over time. But go sign up now and enjoy it. With that being said, guys, ring-a-ling-ding. Week 7 is over, and we are moving on into Week 8 officially. With the Broncos facing off against the Dallas Cowboys here in Denver. And the Cowboys fans travel well. So the ticket prices, Spotty, I know firsthand are not cheap. And it's because the need for these tickets and the desire for these tickets are high. And there's going to be a lot of Cowboys fans there. So not to say that Broncos country won't be loud, but I will say there were only like 360 something no-shows for the game, which is by far the lowest I've ever seen it. And I expect this week to be the same. So look, obviously we're kind of continuing the conversation of the trade conversation we were having. And we'll flow that into this conversation of the Cowboys here. But so we're talking about wide receiver 2, probably being if we're going to make a trade, that's where we're going to look at doing it. What names are floating around in your head, man? And what are you willing to give up to get those guys?
That's the hard part. I'm not sure if I'm willing to give up what would Broncos need to give up to get a number 2. And I guess with how inept our offense has been, I'm not really sure if a second wide receiver is going to be beneficial to us. Because if we get a second wide receiver, is that what forces Troy Franklin into the slot, or are we looking for someone who's going to specifically play slot? But just like everybody else, we've heard the names like Jalen Waddle, with the Dolphins potentially being on a fire sale here, and maybe somebody from the Saints like Shaheed or Chris Olave. I just don't know if those teams would give up for like a 3rd or a 4th round like we would want to. I think a lot of those premium names, specifically like Jalen's, probably going to go for a 2 or higher. And I didn't want to give up a 1st round pick for a coach. So what makes you think that I'm going to give it up for a player who's leaving a team that like they're like, well, let's just get rid of him kind of situation?
Well, especially you keep in mind, this is as well as the Broncos are doing and as high as our expectations are for them, this is the 2nd year of a rebuild. And so you have to look at, and I'm not saying that to give them excuses, I'm saying that you have to look at how they're going to make decisions through that lens, right? You're not going to give up a top tier pick when you're still looking to rebuild, when you still have a very young team with a lot of gaps. I still don't think we have an answer at tight end. I'm sorry. Evan Ingram still, he's had a couple flashes, just a couple, but then he's gone again. So I'm not
for the long term, not for sure.
Yeah, no, exactly. So we're not set there. Tight end is still an issue. Garrett Bowles is getting older. We're going to need somebody at left tackle. You're going to have to protect Bo Nix, right? So keeping the offensive line healthy, getting some more wide receiver depth there. If you don't trust that J.K. Dobbins is a long-term answer at running back past this year, you're going to be needing another running back. So there's still a lot of things, and I'm just talking about offense alone. I didn't even talk about defense, right? Where maybe the defense is more set. You still have things. So you're not going to give up a top-tier, first round, second round pick because those are just too valuable right now. You're not a team that's set in their ways that is in a Super Bowl window for sure, and you're experienced and you're healthy and you're deep, right? We're getting there, but we're not there yet, man. So it's just kind of like, I just don't see any of these names being floated around as something that I'd be willing to give anything more than at best a third round for. And it'd have to be like real good.
And Broncos have done pretty well again with those late to middle round picks too. So that's another thing that you got to think about, right? Like, okay, are we going to go out for someone like a Jalen Waddle or someone, another wide receiver when the Broncos have been pretty successful when it comes to the draft. So, and we haven't had the capital that we need over the last couple of years. And then on top of that, let's talk about free agency after that. The Broncos are still paying Russell Wilson a lot of freaking money right now. This is the last year that we have to do that. And next year we're going to get out from underneath that contract. So there's that as well. I just don't see them trying to get ahead of the trying to increase this year's Super Bowl window. I find that a lot of teams that make trades right now, they're like, we need this one piece and this is what's going to set us off. And not with, just like they, I saw for whoever's comment was just that. If we're doing bubble screens to a wide receiver who's going to catch and he's just going to get tackled 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage anyways, then what does it matter? If we got someone traded for someone like a 6th, 7th round pick that's going to block on that, okay, that's fine. That's a different story. But right now we don't have the personnel to, we don't have the kind of personnel to even make a new player successful.
So why are we doing it, Spotty? So why do we keep doing it? Because it doesn't make sense.
Well, our head coach.
Anyway, sorry. You're so spot on, and it doesn't take a genius to look at this and see what you're saying and be like, yeah, duh. So why does the coach keep freaking doing it? And I'm getting quieter because if I don't get quiet, I'm going to yell.
If it works one time, it'll work every time. All you need is one time to justify it the rest of the time.
The rest of the times. James says, I trade for tight end like David Njoku. I think he's going to get, that's too high of a price for him. I don't think they're going to get rid of him.
So it's like, true. Another injury-prone tight end. Like, that's the other catch about it all. And so there's another draft. I don't see it being tight end. I don't see it. If anything's potential, it might be offensive line. But even if it was offensive line, it'd have to be someone who's going to replace Ben Powers. So we're hoping that he's going to come back. I don't see us trading to do it as a Band-Aid, right? Franklin has looked good enough at 2, so that's why I don't really see it. Quite honestly, I wouldn't hold our breath, Broncos country.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't hold your breath.
Well, and you're talking about Franklin has looked good at number 2. I still think you can utilize Marvin Mims a whole lot more and a whole lot better and make him look more like a 2 as well. There's so many things there. It's like, why aren't we not using him the way we saw us utilize him at the end of last season? There's a lot of things from last season we saw us do that I get this is more of the full Sean Payton playbook and everything, but when you find things that are working, at some point you have to say this other stuff isn't, and we need to go back a little bit. And that's okay. It's okay to say, hey, we've tried to move forward as far as we can this year, but we hit our limit and we got to take a step back. So I'm so sick of yelling, which is why I'm getting quiet and kind of creepy voice and shit. Anyway, just like it's like hey Sean, I am going to make you pay into the Javonte Williams jar if you keep it up. Just so you know. Fans of the show are not off limits, and I will keep your tab of how much you owe into the Javonte Williams jar, which yeah, exactly. We'll get it set up for you, man. Have you trade into it. But it'll be interesting.
Week though, right? Because we're going to obviously talk about Javonte a lot.
Yeah, yes, there will. So maybe when we play the Cowboys, there'll be an exception because you have to talk about them. But outside of that, there's no reason to talk about them. Anyway, hey, I did forget. I want to give Roy here a special shout out. Roy did find us at the Flagman Tailgate this last week. So, of course, as I've said before, anybody who's watching us that goes to a Broncos game, you are more than welcome and you are invited to the Flagman Tailgate. Roy can attest that it is not hard to miss the 120 plus flags flying and go back to the back of Lot C there where we are. And great food, great people. Roy, it was great to meet you, buddy. And to all the other fans, like I said, you get out here to Broncos game, come on out and tailgate with us at the Flagman Tailgate in the back of Lot C. You can always send us a message too on Facebook or whatever if you want more information. I want to go back up here to Michael's comment as we move more into the Cowboys centered focus here. Cowboys are better than the 3-3-1 record. Spotty, what are your thoughts on this take?
They're the exact opposite of the Denver Broncos. They have a very potent offense with an absolute dog defense. Like their defense plays as inconsistent as our offense does. So it's literally a strength against strength competition in this game. So, I mean, I was reading it somewhere. They're probably one of the most efficient offenses in the NFL. You're talking about a tight end who, one of the only tight ends who's on pace for, he's one of the few receivers who's on pace for over 100 catches. They just got CeeDee Lamb healthy. George Pickens is having a career year. We just hope that he crashes out during our game. Javonte Williams is having a career year. Dak Prescott has stayed healthy. It's kind of crazy. But also they got rid of their best defensive player, and the rest of their defensive players, they're just there.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. So when I hear things initially like the Cowboys defense is as inconsistent as our offense, I go, ooh, okay. Like our offense can go out there and like have a chance to look good. But then I remember that we made the Giants defense look really, really good.
The Giants defense is not a bad defense.
No, but they're not great either. You know, but for 3 quarters, we made them look like they were just the best, right? So I'm concerned. Like, I get that should be an advantage for us, but I have to ask, is it? Is it really? I don't know. You gotta wonder, right? Yeah, I don't know. Hey, chat, let us know. Is that an advantage for us? Because I have no answer.
I don't know. It just depends on which Broncos offense comes to play. Is it the offense that played in the fourth quarter against the Eagles and the offense that played the fourth quarter against the Giants? Like, is this what's going to happen? Because now we notice it's the NFC East, okay? Maybe that we're just like, we're tricking them. We're like, ooh, like, listen, the mystery of the Denver Broncos. And then we're like, blam, fourth quarter, here we are. This is a real team. Maybe it's just like
it's all part of the plan.
Yeah, like we want to break the heart of every NFC East team really this year. Like that's our goal. Maybe they did us dirty at some point in one year. I'm not sure. Maybe that's exactly.
I don't know.
Peyton's he spun the wheel and he's like, it's that division. That's the one that I'm going to pull all this black magic with. I don't know. I quite honestly can't tell you. We're probably the best fourth quarter offense in the NFL, right? I mean, the stats probably read that. I think Bo is probably the best fourth quarter. I mean, he set records. We're talking about no quarterback.
He's like a 72% pass percentage in the fourth quarter.
Only quarterback to rush for 2 touchdowns and pass for 2 touchdowns in a single quarter.
And 0 interceptions.
Yeah, that's crazy. So if the Broncos offense that popped up for those 15 minutes is the Broncos offense that comes out, then it is an advantage for us because we got strength on strength. And then if our offense is a little better than their defense, then that's how you win games, right? That's how you win the game. You got to score more points.
Yeah. So DeAndre, this is the question. And there's no answer to this until we find out on Sunday at the end of the game when we can for sure answer what defense showed up. I'll be honest, going into the fourth quarter, I had the entire post-game show written out in my head. I had all the talking points. I could have done the hour-long show by myself. And the whole comment, it was built around, well, at least the Broncos showed up today. Unfortunately, it was just the 2015 Broncos. So, it's like this time, only one Broncos team is showing up. And, they better be ready for it. So, I don't know, man. It's like, where's the Broncos offense from the Colts game, dude? Like, why can't we get that?
Yeah, except they didn't score any points in the second half.
Yeah, but still, it got 28. Like, you get 28 in a game. I don't know. Playing with really bad defense. Sean tries to get overly cute. But that's what I'm talking about. Like, Sean needs to recognize that he is part of the problem. And I'm not saying he needs to give up play calling, but he has to recognize that him getting cute is just hurting the team. He's coaching. He's out coaching himself, and it's killing us.
Are we saying cute now because we're no longer in London? I like cheeky, honestly.
Cheeky. We could stick with cheeky.
We started saying cheeky because of the London game, but now that I guess since we're back on stateside, we'll say cute. Let's let and I don't know. It's like he thinks in his head. He's like, while there's like storm clouds, he's like thinking of new ways, and inception his own self. He's like, what if we throw the ball and backwards and then throw the ball backwards to hand the ball to someone? Maybe that'll do something. Like, how can we make that work? Like, no, Sean. Hand this ball to J.K. Dobbins and tell those big fat boys up front to block.
Yeah, I think we need to institute the Sean Payton rule. And the Sean Payton rule is going to read as follows. If at any point you think to yourself, they'll never see it coming, abandon what you're thinking. Abandon whatever your plan is. If you say to yourself, they'll never see it coming, yes, they will, and you need to stop and revert to something more just simple. Okay. I think but so here's a good point. Yeah. Run the ball, chew up the clock. Their defense gets gassed right in Denver. You keep the good Cowboys offense off the field. Like, that seems pretty straightforward to me. And I would expect that 99% of head coaches in the NFL would understand that when you're up against a really good offense, you want to really, right off the bat, lean on and stick with your run game, even if it doesn't start working instantly, right? But I'm sitting here going, Sean Payton, I won't be surprised if he goes out there with another 5 straight passing plays to open up the game and say, let's try and see if this works. They'll never see it coming. Like,
I got something for you, Kev Dan.
Let's do it.
We talked about it the last couple of weeks. Should Bo be running the ball more?
Yeah. Look what happened this last week. 18-yard touchdown.
That play was beautiful.
It was.
Down there, Garrett Bowles is down there. Bo really, as soon as he got around the corner, there was no one around him. Okay, the man looked great. Besides the way that he holds the football, really pisses me off. But that's neither here nor there. Okay, he's been pretty good on fumbles this year, but I don't understand if the games that Bo has more than like 25, 30 yards, the offense is humming because when right now, the defenses are making sure that Bo's not getting outside of the pocket on boots, okay? Which actually I want to tell you that the Giants ran another wrinkle in there that I hadn't seen any other teams do, but they were running up the defensive end, not crashing down the edge, maintaining the edge. Okay, so Bo was going to have difficulties running out, and then they'd run a linebacker almost like a spy behind him. And so that would take Bo's first option, which is usually someone cutting back the other way right away from him. So they're teams that like because they're not thinking he's running. Like if they don't think he's going to run, you don't have to worry about the deep ball, and then you don't have to worry about Bo running the ball. I'm just saying if you run him a little more, a couple of call plays, maybe even just a quick draw play. Yeah. That's going to open up a couple of these stupid other plays for you.
Yeah, because I don't think the teams are putting a spy on Bo. And it just kind of boggles my mind because I'm thinking if you have a quarterback that's as athletic as Bo is, wouldn't you use that to your advantage to force the other team to put a spy on him, which, yeah, muddies up the middle of the field maybe a little bit more, but you're almost taking one of the defenders out of play. It gives you that extra advantage. So I'm not saying you need to have a quarterback designed to run 20 times a game, but do it enough times until they put a spy on you. And once they start putting a spy on you, okay, now back off. But now that's one more player that's not defending the pass down the field, or, stop, going to the outside to stop the run or whatever, if you fake it well enough. Then they take the spy off you. Time for a quarterback run, like make them pay. And these are simple things. I'm just like, I grew up with these concepts and learning the game of football around these concepts. And it's just, I don't see that happening here. And I don't know why people aren't asking more of these kinds of questions, but I just don't understand why we're not seeing it, because it goes against everything that I thought football was,
This might be a crazy comment, but I'm trying to think of anybody that Bo might be a top 10 most athletic quarterback.
Yeah. So why don't we utilize that?
Obviously, you can take like the top 3-4, like Jalen, Jaden, Lamar, and Josh Allen. Like those guys are obviously maybe a little more athletic than him, but damn near fits in anywhere else after that. And why not take advantage of that? I do understand he likes to take advantage of Bo's athleticism by trying to get him out of the pocket, and then maybe no one who throws a better ball outside of the pocket, but also at the same time, I'd rather him not have to throw a ball on a run. I understand that he's good at it, but how about we not do that? Because that makes him even more antsy, and I think that's what leads to him trying to run up and throw the ball downfield, and that's what's going to lead to it. So I don't know. If you look at the plays where he hit Marvin Mims and then Cortland on the side, when he set his feet, that ball was coming out crisp, nice spot. There's ways to take advantage of his athleticism, and I don't believe the ways that we're currently doing is it.
Look, we're gonna have to see. It's mid-season. We're past the point of trying different things and seeing if they work. At this point, you know what works. At this point, you know what your team is made of. Lean on that as you go down the stretch of the season here. You start talking about playoffs. They're going to start showing the graphic of playoff seeding here in a few weeks for every game. So it's going to start becoming the main. Okay, they're already doing it. So here we are, guys. Like, it's mid-season. There's no more time to jack around. You can't just say, oh, well, it's early season. We can overcome it if we lose. No, you may not at this point, right? The AFC West is very close. And, yes, the Chargers are charging. But the Chiefs are starting to look better, and they're starting to get on a roll, and they're still beatable. I'm not terrified of them, but you don't want this to come down to, hey, man, there were 2 games that we really should have won and we didn't, and that's why we're now on the road for a playoff game versus, being the AFC West champ. So it's just Sean Payton has to get out of his own way. I think what it boils down to. We've seen that the offense, it'd be a different conversation if we just don't see anything good from the offense ever. But we see a lot of good in chunks. So take that and build a game plan around that. We're going to get to our closing thoughts here in just a few minutes, guys. But appreciate everybody tuning in for the show. Stick around and we'll give you our final thoughts. But again, make sure you follow us on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher for the pregame podcast. And then Sunday, we're live 1 hour before the game and at halftime as well. If you tuned in this last week, you saw Adam go live by himself solo for the first time. I think he did a pretty damn good job. So I told him if he was on probationary status, he's basically off. So might be seeing more of him. But either way, guys, we are live before the game and at halftime as well. So make sure you tune in for that. But the Cowboys coming to town, Broncos trying to get on a 5-game win streak, but you're starting to get in the area of, man, a 4-game win streak alone in the NFL is not that common. You start getting a 4+ games, 5 games, that's tough. That is really tough. And teams are going to start, playing up to us and giving it their all, trying to, be the upset. And the Broncos have got to be able to match that. And we can't go out there falling flat for 3 quarters every game and expect the same result. So there's a reason why before this last week, teams with an 18+ point lead with 5 minutes left in the game had a record of 1,602 to 0.
Yep.
There's a reason. There's a reason. So you can't score 33 points in a game except the Broncos that one time. Let's just say that. Spotty, with that being said, man, let's do some closing thoughts. What do you think as we get ready for Week 8, Broncos versus Cowboys?
So I know we didn't spend a lot of time really talking about the Cowboys, but as we're kind of glancing into the future for the Denver Broncos, we're 7 games into the season with 10 games left, right? To make the playoffs, you really have to win 10 games. I believe the statistic of teams that have missed the playoffs at 10 wins is super low. Maybe 1 or 2 teams ever missed the playoffs at 10 wins. And there are more than 5 winnable games on the Broncos schedule right now if they can play up to their potential. If they're playing 2 3/4 opposed to playing 1/4, okay? I truly believe that this team is something can make a lot. It can do damage. Like there should not be people looking at us on the schedule and thinking that's a W. I don't believe any of the 10 teams that we have left are looking at us. I guess 8 teams left because of the Raiders are twice or 9. That no one should look at us and say that the Broncos are a W. We're going to fight hard in probably every single one of those games. But if we keep shooting ourselves in the foot with penalties, poor play calling, these next bit of games are going to be quite difficult. And I'm not really sure what the quick fix for that is. But again, I digress. It's still fun to be a Broncos fan right now. Like I got to talk shit to Eagles fans because I've watched the Vikings-Eagles game this weekend in US Bank Stadium in Minnesota, and I was wearing Broncos gear. There was a lot of Broncos fans there, and I talked to those people, and they're super excited about the season, just like the rest of us are. And it's fun to see us out and about in places again and feel the confidence that I can say that we're going to win 5 more games, or that we're going to win more than 5 more games. So I really hope that maybe this is the lightning strike that the Broncos needed. They're like, hey, guys, we can score 33 points in a quarter. Maybe if we just score 33 points in 4 quarters, maybe sprinkle in here and there every other quarters, then, we're going to be in it every time. So I'm still looking forward to these next games, and I truly do believe that this game against the Cowboys will be another victory for us.
I love it. Guys, stick around. Don't forget Sunday, game day, 1 hour before kickoff, part of the Tailgate Talk Show. We have our score prediction challenge. So you can get our early score predictions on the pregame podcast, but then on the Tailgate Talk Show, we have the challenge where you guys can submit your own score predictions. And then if you get it right, we'll give you a jersey of your choice. Dying to give one away. It's been several years since we've had a winner. I'm going to say more than 5 at this point. So make sure you guys tune in. Now, Spotty, lots of good points there, dude. I would say, I don't know what a quick fix is for the penalties or for this or that. I would say that unfortunately at this point of the season, if there was a quick fix, it would have been utilized already. At this point, I don't think there is a quick fix. I think at this point, I don't know if the penalties are going to get cleaned up. That seems so simple to me with a lot of the pre-snap stuff that, and a lot of it could get cut down by just stopping some of the substitution, getting maybe a little bit more of a not totally hurried up offense, but not a total huddle. Like, hey, let's get going, let's get some rhythm, right? You could cut down on it in some of those ways. So I'd like to see that, but it's just the Broncos offense. Yeah, like you're saying, they've seen that they can do it in spurts. So why not go out there and find a way to just spread out the entire game? And really, control the game that way. You're playing your game in that situation. You're not like, oh, we have to ban the run because we're down 19 points. 14 points, whatever the case is. So, but anyway, guys, I want to end it, shout out to Demaryius Thomas, inducted into the Ring of Fame. I didn't know when I bought my seats that I was one row behind where they lifted the banner of where his name was. So whenever they show a video of that, wherever, I'm going to be in the background looking goofy, like, whoo. But big shout out to Demaryius Thomas. It was good to see the 88 out there on the field. And then just, if you guys haven't seen it, take this for what it is. Demaryius Thomas passed away when he was 33 years old. 33 points in the fourth quarter. The last drive that led into the field goal for us was 33 seconds long. And 2 of those touchdowns were 2-point conversions for 8 points apiece, and he was number 88. So maybe DT helped us out one more time. I don't know, but it was very interesting to see that all line up. And at the end of the day, it was great that we're able to pull out a win like that, not just for the Super Bowl 50 team, but for honoring Demaryius Thomas. His mom was in attendance, his family was there, and so to do that for him was fantastic. So a lot of emotions, a lot of good, good memories and everything like that. But 88, great stuff from him, and definitely miss the guy. So with that being said, Spotty, dude, you're a great co-host, man. You know it. I love you, bro. You're fantastic. Thanks for tuning in, or thanks for chiming in, helping out with me tonight, and getting this show going. So you're a scholar and a gentleman.
Spot on.
See what you did there. Pun definitely intended. For everybody in the comments, Jose, Victor, Brad, our guy down in Australia there, Anthony and Roy, and everybody else that I'm not naming, just because it would take me forever to name y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in and keeping the comment section going, guys. We will see you Sunday, 1 hour before kickoff. And lastly, quick shout out to Gary, our guy behind the scenes, our marketing guy, and who does all of our posting for us and the AI images and everything. So Gary, thank you so much. Appreciate all of your help. So you guys are great. We're going to keep rolling on, but we'll see you Sunday, guys. Get ready for it. Week 8, mid-season. It's here. Broncos versus Cowboys. We'll see you later. We'll end the show. I have nothing left to say, as we always do, on a very strong Go Broncos. Take care, guys. We'll see you next time.
In the zone, here I go. In the zone, here I go. In the zone, here I go. Yeah, they know I'm a pro.